So we have Yok locking in Priestess, which is super interesting. On top of this, he has such a nice Varg roll. I would really love to play it. He rolled away the Windhawks, but that's fine. He still has a really nice roll. I'm really looking forward to watch it.
Yeah, so they're taking both of the teams are taking one player who's taking the more safe option with reroll or lock in, and the other one's going for greed.
Yes, and I really like this option. And yes, please.
SSP has a really lucky greed roll. I mean, he's not going for the kingpin early. It looks like a kingpin roll, but
yeah, no. The thing is, like we've cut this a little bit before I did. Kingpin is now a unit you can just place without having stacks because of its stats being broken as fuck. So I'm pretty sure he's just gonna do a violet opener, probably with steeds, so he's gonna be a little bit weak on 7 and 8, so he got an overvalue there, and then he's just gonna have kingpins as late game tanks. I'm pretty sure that's what he's going to do.
Yeah, that sounds good. And they're actually pretty much all of them have some good late game rolls. I don't like Yoks that much, but he's probably the weaker one in the late game.
No, actually I would disagree here because of Priestess. Like there haven't been Priestess changes. Only Priestess Steed was nerfed a little bit, and he has a lot of good tanks. Like he has Batchers, he had Mudmans plus Varg, so he has a lot of good tanks. And Priestess with the percentual damage is actually really strong if you make it past wave 16, because 16 is like a good Priestess counter.
Yeah, so the East team, they did some income sends, and SSP did as well. But Seraphine, he's waiting with his send already, so he's probably going for a 3 send.
I really like this decision in his scenario, because he's the one playing a little bit safer, so he might not want to give away a lot of pressure because he's starting low workers with Angler, so he's just probably maybe even starving Toykan a little bit. I don't know in which situation. Okay, no, he's just income sending now. He just didn't want to enable a potential 5 worker opener on Toykan, but there is none.
Yep, and that's also probably the reason why SSP went for the Violet start, because he also had a Bounty Hunter. You don't want to have the same weak waves in the early game.
Yes, 100% agreed. And it's actually funny to see that Seraphine and SSP have like, it looks so funny that they both have Angler, Steed, and Windhog in the same spots in their roles. Like,
yeah, so their mid game will be pretty much the same.
It will be, yes. And their late games are gonna be like different. SSP's late game looks really strong because of the Star Caller he has on top of it, while Seraphine, he's lacking a little bit of the synergy, because yes, he has Steed with Hades, but Steed and Hades is not that great. On top of this, Hades was actually nerfed in the patch, so I think his late game lacks a little bit of potential, unless he's getting another aura or something like this.
Yep, and he's also one worker behind of the rest, which is, I mean, I can understand it with his start. Maybe he's going for an early Kingpin, I don't know.
I think he will, but it's gonna be risky. Like, he even has to, since SSP is really bad on 7, and Seraphine is not looking any better there. So it's probably gonna be a Kingpin for 7 at least, so he's gonna cover this wave, I really hope.
Yep, and just the income send on Yok. So today I actually tried to go wave 5 against Priest of the Abyss, and it kind of works because people really overestimate the priestess there.
First this, and then second, he actually hardened here, so he really feared there's a big send coming, and now with dehardened Mudman, he's either reading the send on 5 and building a lot, or he's just not able to push a lot of workers, and yeah, he's gonna get punished for it on 5. So it's gonna be really interesting to see what Yok decides to do.
Yep, he sits on his 60 gold now, so he probably stays at 7 workers, which I think will be okay if he builds full now.
Oh shit, I just read a really bad joke about you from Penny.
Which is?
It's Mike on the mic.
I was already so happy that you didn't start by introducing me as Mike, but yeah.
I have it in the title, don't worry. All right.
But I was actually thinking that you also have this problem that people mispronounce your name, right?
I have no clue.
I mean, because it's like Bonny, Bonny,
Yeah.
but people still often say L forward.
Oh. Oh, that's a very old one. It's fine, it's fine. It's
Probably
fine,
half of the people listening don't even know anymore who L forward is.
No, probably not. But let's get back to the game, okay? So we have Toykan clearing really well here, while Yog he's leaking a little bit. But I think it's fine having 9 workers. It's actually just a little bit better for you since you're in the worker lead and you just get a lot more income out of this small lead that is not even giving king damage.
Yeah, and so it was enough. The 7 workers. I mean, the small league. It's.
Small leagues are.
I mean, I'm curious what they're going to do for 7. I mean, it's both of the teams. They actually Yog doesn't have that much of a problem with this Badger, right?
Yeah. Look at Seraphim. He just built a berserker to cover himself on 6, and then he's shifting gold for the kingpin for next. The only worry I have is that the kingpin is probably tanking too much and dying. So I might have placed the berserker somewhere like here, so the berserker tanks 1 or 2 Roccos as well, and you make sure to get the maximum stacks on the bounty hunter. But that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, it's leaking, or it's dying quickly here as well.
Yeah, so you can just hope for the steed to give more stacks, because at the moment it's 104. So yeah, dead with 104 stacks, so that is the maximum he will have. And it actually looks like Yog on the other side, he's holding. A really strong hold here. Once again, getting a little bit of feed. He can probably push another worker. At least I would really like to.
Yeah, and I like it that he just did the Priest of the Abyss start, because I think that's really his strongest unit from what I've seen.
It is for sure one of the strongest units. Now, with the latest changes, for pathing and targeting again, I'm pretty sure Aqua Spirit is gonna be at the top again, and it's gonna be played a lot. I'm pretty sure. But we will see how it all pays out at the end.
Yeah, and I'm also quite surprised by his positioning here, because usually people put it 1 space in front, but it's really working out for him to put it like this.
Yes, it did very well. I'm also liking the deep coiler positioning. So usually deep coiler and Asaria, they really, or priestess, they really do not synergize well at all, because you want to have tanks for your priestess to just keep a lot of units away for as long as possible. But it looks like the coiler and the priestess in this case are synergizing so well. Priestess almost surviving and getting out another spell, and the coiler's just clearing the wave. That's really beautiful.
Yeah, and it had a really good tanky value there.
Yes.
Really split him.
100%. And on the other hand side, we have Seraphim. He went for the kingpin, 104 stacks. So it was the plan, as we said earlier. He's going for the kingpin. And one thing that's really interesting is that SSP, he actually went for an early bounty hunter after the Violet, which makes a little bit of sense, since the Violet is hitting a lot of units low, so it's easier to get stacks because of last hitting. But overall, those units are just very weak on 7 and 8, and SSP, as we see, has to stay on quite some value.
Yeah, and that's the thing for them now that they're behind in works a bit. Well, Seraphim can push now finally, but he's still a bit behind on income. If you look at Yog with 114, he's really ahead of the rest, so he's gonna scale well into this game.
Plus, we have to keep in mind that the 879 fighter value Seraphim has is actually 100 value just from the Kingpin stacks. So he is strong. Kingpin is now a machine with the extra 500 health, but you still have to keep in mind that you don't have this value as raw gold on your lane.
Yeah, that's a mistake I've made myself
Same.
quite a few times.
Same. Ooh, oh shit. So it looks like there's some leaks happening on Toycan and SSP, if I see right. Oh, never mind. That's a Pegasus and an SSP. So that is my bad. But Toycan leaking quite hard here.
Ooh. Yeah,
This is
that's a
painful. This is very painful. And on the same hand side, SSP, he played it passive here. Now finally pushing a little bit of workers, 14 already. But his bounty hunter, it's almost full stacked. And this full stack bounty hunter will have such a huge impact on the game as soon as he builds it as, like, upgrades it to a kingpin.
Yep, true. But actually they could have done so much more this round because Yok is on 730 value and SSP only sent him a snail here. If he sent a bit more, it would have been a lot of king damage there.
Yes, probably. That could have been the case for sure.
So he's probably going to upgrade the bounty hunter for 10 and they will be more than fine there.
I love this play. I would have liked... I didn't see exactly what he built. Oh, a seed. I just wanted to say I would like another angler. Perfect play. I love this decision. Just get another angler because like the bounty is full stacked almost. So the steeds are only giving the violet some mana, or in those cases now some kingpins. I really love this play. It's insanely strong. And now even receiving
and also the positioning is quite good on the tanky position. Normally, before this patch, you would like to place it a bit more in the back to give it also some protection. But right now, you can just place it in front, and if it doesn't get too many stacks, then it will just be a tank.
Every stack you get more than 0 is actually additional, and you can be happy about. So just enjoy the angler spam later on for Seraphine and SSP. And I'm actually convinced that if it's gonna be late game, and Seraphine and SSP are just spamming anglers, they just need 1 or 2 good damage units, for example SSP, Starcaller, Steed, and they're gonna wreck it.
Yep. What do you think about Yok's build here? Is he going to do fine against 10 now or no?
He should. Now with this build he's splitting the boss to the left side. There he has a hardened golem, so at least it's quite some tankiness. Plus he has a deep coiler that is dealing some damage, tanking afterwards, and very last unit to tank is the Assyria. That is dealing potential damage, so it could be enough. He has insane value, but it might just not be enough. Like it's gonna be super close, I guess. It's gonna be a very close one.
Yep. And Toycan isn't doing too
he's
well,
leaking.
I guess. Yeah, I mean,
for sure here.
I'm used to Starcaller being a really good counter, but lately I don't find it that impressive.
I don't think it anymore. And this is actually a lot more than close. So I was talking some bullshit once again. Nothing new. And this is some heavy king damage. Yes. The pack leader in 8, they do have 9 king upgrades, and Frost Chain is actually like, it's probably the best spell for wave 10, having Frost Chain. But this is insane king damage, and Seraphine, SSP, they're having those workers. They just got income sense. They got all those king HP leaks. They got the king bounty. Like this is massive.
Yeah, the worker lead is huge. They're both just full pushing.
Yes, it's insane, and I love this play because they have kingpins. SSP has a full stack kingpin. He's actually on 1300 value. And he's just full pushing. I love this play. While Seraphine, he's taking GA. GA got nerfed as well a little bit, 50 less HP with a respawn. But they want to end this on 12, and I love this play because Assyria is really not that strong on 12. And Toycan showed before that he's lacking a little bit of pierce damage when he leaked hard on 8.
Yeah, that's really good decision making. Knowing that now you have to go for it, and they're really going for it. And I don't see them surviving, actually.
No, not really. I mean, the sends are going to be insane. It's going to be around 400 that SSP can get out, and Seraphine will be very close.
Yeah, and Yok is also on 1395 value and Toycan on low value as well. I mean, and they do it without the push. So yeah,
And
they're
look at
just in
this,
a really
like
bad position.
Toykan, he's almost leaking here to a no send. Maybe he is even leaking here. I don't know. Can he clear the last one? I think he's not able.
Nope.
Oh
He's
shit, this
one.
is so bad for them. Being,
Yeah.
I don't know how many workers, I don't want to count now, over 10, 15 workers down. And they're leaking and giving the opponent team a lot more time while being weak on the next wave. This is like the worst that can happen for you.
Yeah, and so the East team is going for the income sense and trying to survive this, while there are massive sends coming out from the other side.
Yes, that's true. Those sends are really nice. I'm like the size of the sends. I'm questioning about the Centaur, to be honest. Like, I don't know where this comes from, but
yeah, same.
Like, what is the purpose? You only saw big units and you're deciding for a Centaur. I don't really get it, especially since the Centaur is gonna get attacked by the Starcaller at the very beginning. Don't know exactly.
I think he just wanted the biggest tank possible, but in this case he had better gone for the extra damage because there's just not that much damage on Toykan. So
yep, there's actually almost no damage on Toykan. Starcaller is fine, yes, but it's just not enough. And look at this, Yogg-Yogg's Astera, it got sniped, he's leaking hard. Toykan is leaking hard, and this is the 1-0 for the Frenchies. Wow.
Wow, what a nice game they played.
They did really good here. Like, we were unsure in the beginning because they were kind of weak, 7 and 8, but then Seraphim covering with a Kingpin, while SSP decided to play safe and then go for the full mana Kingpin, and then just full push. It was an insane play.
Yeah, and that's the thing with the Kingpin. It's like on the mid game, especially around 9, 10, 11, 12, you just cannot pressure those teams because Kingpin is just that strong there, and they took full advantage of that. Again,
a lock-in from Yogg-Yogg, and Seraphim taking redraw. We didn't see it last time, or like, especially I didn't because I was in the menu still. Seraphim is playing redraw. I thought so, but now we know for sure.
Yeah, he has a really good area of effect role on SSP.
Wow, you're actually the first one ever saying area of effect. Wow. Yeah, people now know you're old.
The A role is good.
Sorry. Alright, but how do the others look? The greed rolls, SSP and Toykan. Ooh, I don't like both too much so far. Like, especially SSP, like, he has no tank, right? He has Banana Bunk, that's it?
Yep, that's true.
That sucks. So I would pick and reroll right away to just already know where the problems start and where do they end. At the moment, it looks like they start on wave 1 and they end on the wave the game ends. And Toykan's role is fine. I think he's lacking a little bit of damage. Yes, he has Starcaller Steed, but that's like very limited source of damage, especially on swarm waves. It's not that strong. Plus, he has the deep coilers. So I'm looking forward to see what's actually happening.
Yeah, I think his role is fine if you consider that most games end pretty early. So if it's a mid game, then his role is totally good for that. I mean, later it can be a bit of a problem because all of his damage is pretty much pierce.
I agree here. But I mean, there's a magic component as well from the spell. But before we see it, I have to say Toykan starting with the opener Mudman Serpent that Seraphim actually made famous in the last season of Legion In-House League, where he surprised everyone with Mudman Serpent going 6 workers. Was a fun game, not for me because I lost this one, but for everyone else watching, there was a really, really nice opener Seraphim showed there for the first time.
Do you have any favorites based on the roles for this game?
You mean which of those roles I prefer?
Yeah.
Like, I don't like Like, if I had to decide, I'd probably take Yogg-Ogg's role, because Priest, he has a pretty good Priestess role. The only problem he has is that Priestess is his only damage unit, and he kind of has to stay low because his role is quite expensive. But apart from this, I think he has a really nice Priestess role. Like, if you can change 1 or 2 units, it would be perfect. But so far, it looks pretty solid. What's about you?
Yeah, I think I do like the area of effect role. So for Seraphine, I do like it. I mean, especially because he also has the archer for it, and I think that's the best addition if you have such kind of roles, because it's both area of effect and it's good against 10. So that's just a combination.
I have to disagree there. Like, I think the perfect add you can have for such a role is Halo. Just the better range berserker. It got nerfed now. I don't exactly know how this pays out. But overall, I think Halo was the best add-on. And the only thing, like, I like AoE rules. I really do like AoE units. I like Mask, I like Aqua. I'm not the biggest fan of Pyro, but like all the units that deal semi-AoE, I love. The problem I see with Seraphine's role is his lack of tank line. He has Antlers and Bunk, but like, how is he gonna protect on 14, for example? I don't see a lot of chances for him to hold on 14, even if he's having Arcane Armored Elite Archers.
Yeah, that's true, but that is actually true for a lot of players this game, that 14, they don't really look good for that.
Yes. I think everybody's gonna have some problems. We'll see. SSP playing Tempest, Canopy probably. Canopy got a small buff. So we will see this in action if the game actually makes it till 14. But before we reach 14, I just want to mention Seraphine actually pushed 5 workers with Antler, which is quite uncommon. He did receive the send on 1, so that's probably why he felt like doing it. But it was actually very close for him, almost leaked to a no send. So greedy 5 worker Antler, that's not really a thing you can get like as safe as before.
Yep, but on 4 it's just such a huge tank. So.
Look at those imps. Wave 4 imps in income. That's massive. That is really massive. And look at Toyka. Oh no, never mind, it's 5. Sorry, wrong wave. But still massive.
Do you like sending the imps against a Mudman?
I think I do, since the other best sense would be Cannoneer, which one is getting sniped from the Serpent, or actually Brood. And Brood is like dealing a lot of damage, but also like reducing attack speed, and Mudman is, and therefore DPS. And Mudman is not really known for its DPS, so I just like to buff the wave damage to kill those tanks as soon as possible, and then shut down all the remaining damage units.
Yep. Yeah, but Token is actually doing really fine against it. Ooh, that was really close on the...
That was a super close one. And now he's able to carry this one. I think the Priestess can actually out-heal 2 imps. I've seen this in a game. I don't know if it has to start with more HP, but I think it's fine. Nice.
Yeah, they deal almost no damage.
That is insane.
Yeah, and now it looks like SSP is in some kind of trouble because he's just so weak for 6.
He is.
Let me show he's still getting income sense, so maybe he can do...
Yes, he does get income sense, but it is still Double Dragon Turtle... I can't even speak. Double Dragon Turtle, and Dragon Turtle being the best unit you can send against Tempest, because Tempest, their spell is actually attacking ground units, so they won't focus the Dragon Turtles with their spell, which just lets them live a lot longer. So that's quite good to send against Tempest in the very early game.
Toyken also shifted some gold for this wave. I don't know how fine he will be.
He didn't harden last wave, so he should not be too bad, but it doesn't look like he's gonna hold this. It looks like he's gonna League 1 probably, but his focus is just perfect, so it might be just enough. But I'm unsure. I don't want to make a bad prediction.
Also a really good hold from SSP. It wasn't even close.
It wasn't even close. We didn't see the end, but we saw the beginning. I mean, with this value he has against a 80 cent only, it is fine. I said 80 because there was a king up.
Yep, and let's see what they're going for now. So the French team is actually, they keep on income sending. And Toyken does as well. But Yok is saving. And I mean, I would say he's probably going for 9.
Probably, yes. I would say so, because Seraphim and SSP, they look bad on 9 at the moment. We see Yok not looking perfect on 9. Toykan as well, so maybe even the whole game might be a big 9 fiesta. But they have been income sends right now, so let's see how long the next waves, including this one, will be, to see how big of a fiesta it will be on 9.
Ooh, that was close again.
Super close again. Yok now is showing that he's the one and only Priestess Master.
Yeah, and I'm actually surprised at how many income sends we see this game, so they keep on doing it.
Yes, there are a lot of income sends. I think there haven't been that many income sends last round. So especially Yok and Toykan doing a lot more income sends. And we see this in their work account as well. So I feel like they decided to change their playstyle. They didn't scale that well last one. And with Aseria good tanks and XX, and on the other hand side Starcaller Steed, they probably feel like, okay, we have really good late game. Let's just scale there and then beat them.
Yeah, and I think that's a good thing to do as well, because I also noticed this when I started playing LIHL 2 weeks ago, that you're really quick to starve yourself. Like you think like, okay, I need to do a good send now. I can't just income send. And usually it just hurts your game. So you can better just play the same as you play on ladder. And I mean, maybe they thought of themselves of having done that last game as well.
Yes, probably
just trying to.
Like, especially Yok loves to income send a lot, so just didn't feel comfortable with the playstyle he did, and I think that might be one of the reasons. Yeah, they lost it. They just didn't feel comfortable. Here, please can somebody clip this real quick, because this is actually what happened to the Deep Coiler. Some time back. This was a bug, so the Cannoneer, the Halo died and the Cannoneer moved to the position of the Halo first and then went down. So it would be nice if someone could clip this, please. You mentioned it, wave 9. It is wave 9 now. Seraphim, he's receiving his send and he's not looking that great, even though he has the white main.
Yeah, I don't like the white main on 9 too much, because it deals so few damage there.
First of all this, second he's actually buffing a rogue wave, and third he still has his awful split, so the split is just gonna kill his whole DPS backline. And in the end it's just gonna be the white main left over. It's even getting reduced attack speed because of the brood. This is just a perfect send to counter Seraphim here, who's gonna leak almost everything.
Yep, and the same is gonna happen for SSP. So this is really a bad way for them.
Oh, it is. This is a lot of king damage incoming. It's gonna be 12 units to the king, 1 brood, 1 mole. That's massive.
It's really bad if you were saving for wave 9 and going for an upgrade of 350 gold and you still leak that much.
And the thing is, you could have even done a Pyro. I don't get why he didn't do it, because we have Seraphim, he has Halo, plus he has Tempest, so his overall damage output on 10 is quite high. So just spam some tanks like Devilfish and you're gonna be fine on 10. And then Seraphim can just cover 9 and I think everybody would be happy. So I really think that was a miscommunication mistake, and they could have really done a lot better here.
Yep, but they're going to try to get the king down of the East team as well.
Yeah.
Right now. And do you think they have a chance of doing that?
I do see York League actually quite a lot. A little bit more than last one because he's having worse tanks and worse damage this time. But I don't see Toykan League. He has massive value, plus he has the Harden, he has good damage, so I really do not see him League.
Yep, and Yok he actually went for the consort, so that's some good stuff going on there. But
it is some good stuff, but it's probably not good enough. Especially look at how, I don't know, you can't say unlucky because it's obvious that it's gonna happen, but half of the consorts, maybe even a little bit more, just casted their death spell on the ogre. So now he's gonna league like boss with 1/3 HP and an ogre with half HP. So that's really awful for him.
Actually, Toykan didn't do as good as I thought he would, so they are going to take some king damage here.
They are, yeah, I thought he's gonna do around like this because yes, he's good, but he's still received 280, I think, 260.
True.
So that's still a lot of Mythium spent into mercenaries. But overall, just look at their king HP. It's 80 versus 44%, which is a huge difference because with 44%, even a medium big league, especially with the latest king damage nerfs, can be impactful on the game and maybe even be lethal.
Yep. And is that a living egg on Yok?
On 11, yes. I think not on 12. I don't see any chance for this to live on 12, especially with the value he has. So he's barely on value with the exec included for this wave, a little bit over. We can see his recommended value, where he's actually under. Plus, Seraphine and SSP, they do have quite some Mythium already, so they're gonna send on 12 that way. But I think that's actually what they wanted to bait, because we have Toykan being really strong on 12, Deep Coilers, Mudman, so they probably just want to force them on 12 to, don't show their weaker ways, which is especially 14, 15. 15 for Toykan here.
Yep, and I see on Seraphine he got the pulverizer on Zeus. Do you like that?
Actually, I do. Of all the units he had, Zeus was the best choice for sure, because it's ranged. It has huge range, so it's the most ranged unit in his role. So it's gonna be the last man standing. Plus, Zeus has a lot of attack speed. It is 2.7, so it is the best unit you can do in Seraphine's case. And Seraphine rerolled and got the Boas, which is massive for him. Boa, Pyro, Aqua is a huge comp. He now just needs the money and the waves to get all those units step by step. Yep. But as soon as he has them, it's going to be a massive comp for him and he's going to be really strong.
And it's quite interesting that they didn't go for the kill of the exec, but they just went for king upgrade.
I think that's a huge mistake, especially in like Seraphine. He should have sent full, and then you have SSP just going for the king ups. I think this is a way better play because like this, look at how, almost all tanks from York are down. And if you now send a pack leader, what's possible for him in income? If you now get the pack leader, that would be fine for him to break the egg. Give York a little bit of a hit to not get all this power from the exec, and then you can just send incomes on Toykan because he was that strong on the wave.
Yeah, and like we said in the very early game that it's probably going to be a 14 send. I think it's still going to be. And York actually going for a new exec, which I think is quite interesting because all of the teams are not that high on value, so it's quite a risk to do. But I think he's betting on the late game, and if there is a late game, then this will really help him.
I 100% agree. The thing is, he stayed overvalue to get this exec. We have Toykan being quite good on 14 while being really bad on 15. So I think it's once again they just try to force enemies on a wave. that might not be the best wave to send on, which would be not send 15 against Toykan. So maybe they even have, like Seraphine and SSP even have to look at split sending for some time till they can make some serious sense. And he's just building the exec. He knows he has the Asteria for 14 with a little bit of stun potential. He has a Millennium plus a lot of value since he didn't push that hard. We see it, he's the lowest on workers. So I just think he tries to either scale or to bait sense.
Yeah, and that's really a skill in Legion TD which is often overlooked, like trying to master the game or be the king of the game and decide when people are going to send, because you can build well, but you will always have weak waves. And if you can make sure they cannot send you on your weak waves or have to go on your strong waves, that's just a huge skill.
Yes.
And so this is one way how you can do it with the XX. It's really one of those units which can really determine the pace of the game.
They do. Like, often you underestimate XX because they're just so huge tanks and they scale with every wave into the game. So they get a little bit more of damage and a little bit more of damage reduction with every wave in the game. And sometimes you just think, okay, he has some XX, yes, they're broken. But when the waves hits like 15 or even higher, that's actually a lot of reduction they get as bonus. We see it here. Those XX already have 20% reduction. That's massive.
And I'm also curious how the French team will deal with this 15 cent, because they're actually saving, which I think is a good tactic, because they are behind and you can't just keep on sending with them. But they will have a hard time here.
They will, but we have Seraphine having AoE roll, so he's only gonna leak the boss. And we have SSP, he has the Asteria, he has the Halo, so overall he has a single target damage to kill a boss, but I think he's missing tanks to reach the boss with those units. And especially Asteria not tanking anything is like a waste of lot of potential.
Yeah, but on Seraphine you can also see one thing which really changed, which is a huge change for 15, is that the Pyro doesn't hit the small units anymore, and so he's barely clearing the small units.
Yeah, this is fine though. Look at this. There's only bosses plus a small ads. I think one of them should have at least sent a Shaman here. It was possible for Toykan, who is sending on Seraphine. I think since Seraphine is gonna leak the boss 100%, go send this Shaman, because a Shaman at the boss or at the king is just so powerful compared to just a little bit more HP on the boss. Especially if you think that both are gonna leak.
Yep, and now we see some interesting things going on, because Yok and Toykan are income sending and Seraphine and SSP are still saving. So they really have their one shot probably on 17 to get back in the game.
They probably will, but this in my eyes is a huge mistake. Why? Because we have the XX scaling for Yok. They just did send multiple times, so they have just so much income to just out-income them for some time. Plus, their king HP is so high that one final blow won't make it if they have full king ups, which they just managed to do. So I'm pretty sure their long starve, basically, is just gonna punish them in the end. It's gonna lose them the game because they need 2 cents, or they have to leak both players massively to finish this game.
Yeah, and maybe on this patch it will be a bit easier because the king is weaker now, so perhaps it is more rewarding to do such a save.
Yeah, maybe a little bit, but we're not talking about insane numbers here, right? Like, it's gonna be 500 something cents, which is, it's fine, yes, but Yok already having 4.2k value, like, he's just gonna blink a few times and then the wave's gone.
Yep, and the Kraken, it's a good send, but it's not that much damage which you will neglect with it.
It is not at all. Especially, the Kraken is not even getting hit by the Asteria, but it's just gonna get pulled over into the split. So the Asteria can start attacking the wave right away. And it's just, I think it's just gonna clear all the side. And then some time joining on the other side, killing the Kraken.
Yeah, and I also think that you should take into account that Wave 17 has arcane armor itself,
Yep.
so the Kraken is not that useful and that much needed in
Agreed.
this case.
Look at this, they predict right, we have Hardens coming out for Toykan, 2 Hardened Golems, we have... Oh, never mind, the Ysera is actually attacking the Kraken, since the split is too low. My bad on this, but it's just gonna be such an easy hold. Look at his value. Like, he is a little bit down, but that value doesn't calculate the resistances all the units get from white main and the X get from the wave scaling. So it looks very, very much like Yogg is holding or only super small leaking.
Yep, and the same for Toykan, and
Yep.
I guess that Yogg is just going to push everything now.
Yes, he can. He stayed passive for so long. I would have actually hoped that he's doing 1 or 2 double workers after 15, since he just was leading in value. But he played it safe. Look at their small leaks, saving for such a long time. Like the only hope they now have is that Yogg and Toykan, they both gave shutdown, which is in total 200 gold, which might help them a little bit. But at the moment I don't see Seraphine and SSP winning.
Yeah, it's really hard to change things around when you're behind, and even those shutdown golds, they are usually not enough to get you back into the game. The only way it can really help is if you have one strong player and one player just very much behind, and the strong player just gets stronger from it.
Yes. So we see no sense at all on 18. And the last wave, SSP and Seraphine can win this, is going to be 19, because Seraphine is almost all dead value in 20, so there's no chance he's going to hold. SSP, he has those halos with APS, MPS, he has Asteria with it. He's lacking tank value though. So I don't see SSP nor Seraphine hold on 20 against Ascend. And that's gonna give them the last battle for a win on wave 19, which is the next wave to come.
Yeah, and the worker count is just is so different
Yep.
between the teams.
It is.
Actually, the East team, they're sending on 19, which is quite surprising for me, because both of them are not that bad. I mean, their value is bad, of course, so they might leak to it, but Seraphine has the boars.
Yes, but we have to mention, like, this is, as I just said, the last time they can win, and they know it. They both have better roles for... Whoa, okay.
Wow.
Okay, they know. As we see, they know. And Seraphine is the one who just said it. He's looking good here. So he's the only one having a chance of holding. But they are going for the all-in play. SSP full pushing, but it's not gonna be a lot of extra Mythium he's getting here. Look at just, he's still training workers, and it's almost time to start the wave.
Yeah, and I think they read the game quite well, that this is the moment they have to do it, but there's just not a lot of chance that it will actually happen.
No. I think the sends are simply too small. Even double Shaman is not going to help. Yes, Toykan is not really looking good here, but I think with all the king attacks they have and with the value they have, they will be able to clear enough to not die here. Yeah, look at this. Half the wave already melted down by Toykan's Deep Coiler. And Seraphine is not even holding. So that is GG for pack leaders. Oh, is it? I think it is, right? Yeah, it is. GG for pack leaders on 8 this time. It is a tie, actually. It's probably the worst that could have happened, because none of those teams is actually happy about it. All the other teams that are currently ranks 1, 2, and 3, they are gonna be happy about it, because they just got a little bit of a break, a little bit of a difference between themselves and pack leaders on 8, and this is the tie.
Yep, very good revenge by the East team, by the pack leaders.
So they totally swapped their game style, their play style in the second game. They went for the, okay, let's send a little bit more income this time, and scale for the late game, which fits a lot better on Yogg at least. I'm not sure about Toykan though.